This is my May wrap up. Hey, what's up, y'all? So I think it's time for me to do a May wrap up. I've read a lot of good books this month. I've never done this either before, so let me know if you want me to do this every month. But I figure this is the best way for me to share like reviews on things that I've recently read, what I loved, what I didn't love. And I exclusively use, I shouldn't say that. I do still leave reviews on Goodreads, and if I'm reading a book on my Kindle, I'll mark it as currently reading on Goodreads, but I usually just use Storygraph. Storygraph is bombdiggity.com. I feel like it's very user-friendly. I just like using it, and I track everything, and it gives me my stats, and I believe this is Black-owned, Black-founded. So if you haven't used Storygraph, don't know what that's about, I suggest you check it out, totally free. And then follow me, and it's theskyylife. So just check it out. I really enjoy it. I really like it. It's what I go to first, and then I just kind of post on Goodreads secondary. So anyways, we're going to talk about the books that I read in May. I wonder if I should just do the whole year at this point, but I think I don't know. We'll see. So this might be up until this point wrap up, if I can remember, but I'm going to start out with May first. I'm going to start out with that one, I think, and then work my way back if I have time. So let's talk about it. The last book, the most recent book I finished was A Cowboy in the Streets by Elizabeth. This was an ARC. So I got the advanced review copy. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for selecting me. And it was an eARC, and it was phenomenal. I think if you like cowboy romance, if you like open door, grumpy sunshine, but what I really liked, and I don't want to give too much away because if you're anything like me, I like to know as little as possible just to see if I could be interested in the story, and then I just want to be totally surprised. But I really like how the female main character, and I don't know, I like when there's complexity to the characters. I like how they're multifaceted. I'm able to become more invested in the character if they're more human-like because we're multifaceted. There's more layers to us. So I really like the female main character. Her name is James. I liked her because yes, she was kind, but she also was certain about herself. She had confidence in herself. She believed in herself. And I think that is what was inspiring in this novel, because a lot of times we do face anxiety and second guessing and imposter syndrome, which if there are stories with that, I like that representation so you feel validated. But I also like these moments where we have representation of inspiration. Like you can still be kind, but take no shit. So I really like that. And the main male character, Adam, I feel like he was done really well as well too. I think the pacing of the story was well. I like the action parts of it. I just like everything about it. I had no negative things to say about it. It got 5-star for me. It came out May 31st on Kindle paperback sometime soon, so make sure you check that out. The one I read before that was As for Andrea by Noelle. This one is a thriller. Some might say horror. I never read a book with a ghost in it, but I was very intrigued. I enjoyed this story. My love suggested this to me. He's like, hey, like I came across this book. I think you might like it. I'm like, say no more. Add it to TBR. Then since then, I kept seeing the same book on my algorithm. Thanks. And then a woman I used to work with was like, have you read such and such? I'm like, okay, it's a sign. I'm going to read this book, and I'm so glad I did. It's about these 3 women, young women, who basically meet this guy on a dating app, and he kills them. But there's other things that go on. Oh, goodness. There's other things that goes on in the story. You get to watch their ghostly activities. I don't know. It was a very good story. And what I liked about it is sometimes when it comes around ghosts and the afterlife and passing away, just kind of how all that, it's like a big mystery. So I like Noelle's take on it. And I really like that book. I really did. Okay, so before that, I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia. I think I rated this a 3.75. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I had such high hopes for it in the beginning. I was like, yes, there's going to be complex characters. You know, the main character, Chloe Brown, I believe has fibromyalgia. I think we have like a grumpy going on, which I liked. I don't know. I don't really have complaints about it. It just didn't hit. I don't know. It just didn't hit with me. But I still think it's a wonderful book. I think it was well written. I felt like some passages, I don't know, not too descriptive for writing. I don't know. I found myself around the 60-70% mark, just kind of scanning in between the dialogue, because I'm like, okay, all right. Like, I just kind of got, like, what I wanted to get to the point of it by that time. I'm like, how does this end? But I really don't have any other complaints about it. But I don't know. It was decent. It was good for me, but it's not something that I would buy to add to my physical library. I'm trying to only read library reads and like Kindle unlimited books. And if I love it, then I would consider buying it and adding it to my physical TBR, which this is exactly what I did with my next read I read before Chloe, I Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Hidden Pictures by Jason. This is a horror. This is a thriller. I loved it so much that I made it out the Kindle and now it's on my bookshelf. I got the hardcover. I was not playing about it. I loved it. It's basically about this woman who is an addict and she's going through her recovery process and she decides to become a nanny and work for these people. And so she's babysitting their child, and the child's pictures start out fine until they're not fine anymore. So you're trying to figure out what's going on and what is these illustrations trying to tell you. Of course, you do get to see the illustrations, which I think added to the spookiness of it all. And I even love the acknowledgments when they kind of talked about, you know, the behind the scenes and coming up with illustrations and the process of it, and even some of their other rough drafts. I really, really like the acknowledgement section. I think if you read this book, don't skip that part. Definitely read that too, because it adds to the story. But I loved it. Highly recommend. I chopped this down. I had to get down to the bottom of it. I'm like, what is going on? I feel like there was a twist. It's not like a totally out of nowhere twist. It's kind of like, okay. All right. So I enjoyed it. 5 stars for me. Okay, it made it to the shelf. Okay. Before that, I read a lot of books in May. I'm gonna have to count this again, but before that, I read Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I pre-ordered this baby a long time ago because it was a signed Barnes & Noble edition with a slip case, and I was all about it. I love the cover. It sounded interesting. I don't care. For nostalgia purposes, I ordered it, and I'm so glad I did. I enjoyed this story. Basically, it's about 3 siblings who are reunited at the passing of their mom, and they have to uncover a secret, especially what they discover on a VHS tape. I'm not going to say it's totally unpredictable. I think right before you know what it is, you kind of have an inkling, maybe. I don't know. But it's not like you predicted it chapters ahead of time. I enjoyed it. You know, I like that I have a signed copy. I'm glad I have it. You know, if I didn't pre-order it, would I have ordered it? Probably just for like the nostalgia, probably for just the cover. I probably still would have. The Walmart one was a little cooler only because I think there was a handprint on the front cover and it had like blood stained sprayed edges, and I thought that looked really cool. So I would have got the Walmart version if I didn't already pre-ordered the Barnes & Noble signed one. So that was legit. Okay, and the last one I read for May was Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. This was drama, okay? This was drama, soap opera. I enjoyed it. It did not get 5-star for me, but I did enjoy the story. Really, it's about, I'm kind of bad with names right now. It's this woman who used to date this man, right? But then they decide, you know what? We're just not a good fit for each other. Like, we're just not clicking. We're just not meant to be. And so they decide to split up. Like, there's no upset about it. Well, he ends up and goes and dates and proposes to her sister. Okay, so not only is she the ex of the groom, but she is the sister of the bride. And so it kind of talks about you know, the sister relationship, this relationship with the mom, and all the while the same woman that's the ex of the groom and sister of the bride, she's sleeping with the best man. I mean, this is what it tells you on the back of the book, so no spoilers, but you get to just kind of follow that. I do like the, you know, just kind of the relationship between her and her sister, her and her mom. I feel like it was a decent book. I think, I don't know, I think I wanted a little more. There was some action. There's some fights going on, okay? It was really, really good. So yeah, that's pretty much all I read for May. I'm trying to see if I could squeeze April in here. I think I'll do April. Okay, so let's just go ahead and add April's wrap up in here. There wasn't too many, and I'll start from the top of April. So I read my first adult fantasy, because I'm pretty sure Fourth Wing was considered YA, but my first adult fantasy I read was Ninth House by by Leah Bardugo. It's a part of the Alex Stern #1. Okay, this one is dark academia. I wanted to get into it. I saw it at Barnes & Noble as I was perusing, and it's really about this woman. I don't know how to explain the whole backstory really, but it was just kind of like, you know, you get a second chance at life, you know, maybe, and she could see ghosts and things ever since she was younger. And so now she's at Yale University, and I believe everything as far as like the secret societies and the buildings and stuff like that are true. So it has that element of realism, which makes it even more spookier. So crazy stuff happens with that and the secret societies, and there's drama. I mean, you're kind of on the edge of your seat because you're worried about Alex in this book for sure. I rated a 4-star, but I'm not gonna spill any more about that. After that, I read This Could Be Us. Actually, I read it simultaneously because I wasn't quite done with Ninth House, but I could not wait to read This Could Be Us, and that is by one of my favorite authors, Kennedy Ryan. This is the second book in the Skyland series. The first one is Before I Let Go, and that was 5 out of 5 out of 5,000 for me. I love that one. This one, I rated a 4. I think it's a really, really good story. But to me, Before I Let Go just hit a little bit more for me. But me and my friends read this book. It's about a character you learn in the first one, right? But it's about Soledad and her husband Edward, and is it Josiah? No. Is it Josiah Cross? Anyways, it really is about following your dreams, dating yourself, you know, knowing that you deserve more. I think it's a really good, deep story, and that's why I really appreciate it. Highly recommend. The ones after that, I read You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. This was my first book I read by Geneva Rose, and it was good. Basically, it's about this woman who I think lived in New York. She wanted to get away. She goes to some small town somewhere that I can't remember, and crazy stuff be happening. There's like murder, kidnapping mystery, and there's a twist. There's a major twist at the end where I'm like, what in tarnation? Did not see it coming. I rated it a 4. I liked it. Sometimes people don't like it because it's like, are you serious? But I enjoyed it. And the last one for April was my first Rita McFadden read, and that was The Coworker. Basically, it's about this lady and this other lady that work together, and one of the ladies go missing or is found dead. And did her other coworker do it? This was kind of twisty too, only because it's probably not going to go how you thought it was going to go. And there's a deeper story to that, but I don't want to ruin it. So yeah, that's what I read for April. I read 4 books for April, and I read 6 books in May. And I got my Kindle at the end of April, so I can already read 2 extra books. I don't know, but let me know if you enjoyed this wrap up. Let me know if you want to see more. If there's any books you want to just see like a little bit more in depth, kind of like reading style vlog. I kind of want to keep it brief because I don't want to ruin any of the story for you. But if there's a book that you want me to just chat and talk about all the tea, let me know. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, peace.